the principle is employment drives real estate. Underneath that principle is this idea of you can choose where you're going to invest in real estate, right? So employment drives real estate. Why does employment drive real estate, GC?
For employment, of course, leads to income, right? Income is what we need to both pay rent and to afford the housing payment. So I think we all get that, but many people don't understand that, it's not just the employment numbers, it's the type of employment, because some employment numbers are really strong, but as we have seen, especially in the COVID era, more risky employment, right? What did we understand when tourism went out the door for those markets that really depend on tourism through the COVID era? Well, you know what? That was riskier type of employment. So there's a lot to it when it comes to employment. We need to understand what's our unemployment rate, what are our employment figures, what companies are moving to that city. What Fortune 500 companies do you have that are headquartered there? All this is really relevant data, because at the end of the day, this investment works. Number one, when your residents are there and can afford the rent, the jobs are stable. Obviously you treat the residents with care. You want to build this relationship, and a big part of that relationship is making sure that they're set up for success with their job in an environment in a city that supports it. And when you do a good job of having great employers in the area, employment numbers grow, unemployment goes down, median incomes go up, and that paves the way for the resident to win, the renter to win, and you to win as the investor, to where rents can still be affordable, but they can go up. And that's okay, because median incomes go up. And as that happens, our investment grows when we put on our investor hat.
I like how you differentiated the employment numbers with types of employment, right? Like it makes me think of this market conversation that we're having, right? Like it matters what sector that employment is in. When you said this example of COVID, well, we saw tech marketing jobs take a dive, during COVID. We saw a lot of the tech sector take a dive during COVID. In other parts of, we saw the tourism industry also do that. I think when you think about recessions, some industries get hit harder than other. Construction is a famous industry that kind of goes up and down based on economic cycles, right? Versus healthcare, versus finance, versus logistics, right? Like these types of like core industries that are always humming along. Government is always humming along, right? So, I experienced this in, I talk probably too much about Miami, but, I'm from there, right? Like it has shaped my experience, but like I've seen Miami be a boom and bust town because it was so heavily reliant on real estate and tourism, which really go by the winds of the economy and how that's going. Feels like Miami has diversified some more. Now it's also a big crypto town, right? And some tech and other things. It has a strong financial sector as well. But, the idea that employment drives real estate, I take it as, okay, cool. So I want to invest in places that have good employment numbers, have well-rounded local economies, and dependent on which type of asset class I am investing in real estate, I want to invest in the asset class that serves the people that serve the economy that keeps it all going. Right. So all that is to say that we love the employment numbers in Jacksonville.
We do.
Yeah. Like there's just a ton of, there's a ton of things happening in Jacksonville that tell you that this is a great place for that. First and foremost, we love to cite this thing. It's the Wall Street Journal just put out a report talking about the best employment, the best like job markets in the United States. Right here, Jacksonville is number 2, right? You look at Salt Lake City, or is number 1. Orlando, Florida is 3rd. Tampa is 4th. Oklahoma City, Miami, Austin, Texas, Nashville, Seattle, Dallas. I look at this list and I see, Jacksonville and Oklahoma City as the 2 kind of like affordable cities to like live in to start, right? So this idea that there is a robust job scene here in Jacksonville is really attractive. And then when we zoom out and we talk about, what are the major employers in Jacksonville, we love talking about this well-rounded economy. It is finance and fintech. It's healthcare and healthcare tech. It's logistics. and it's government that really, like move the needle here.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that is fed by, like the logistics sector, the government sector, they live in this like workforce housing asset that we love to invest in.
Absolutely. We have 4 Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered in Jacksonville. So if you're an investor and you want to know what questions to ask as you're starting to think about the market the market that you want to invest in, some easy questions, right? How many Fortune 500 companies do you have that are headquartered there? What are the types of sectors or what are the type of industries? Our industries are not the flashy, sexy ones that you might have in other parts of the country. And that's beautiful to me as a rental property investor, because things like logistics don't go other places, right? We love our military. We have a strong military presence, right? Those jobs stay here. They've been here for a very long time, and they're the backbone of the economy that we have here in Jacksonville. And it's weathered the storm, right? We saw what happened during COVID. Well, we didn't have those types of job losses and type of, major cuts that we saw. We did shows talking about the white collar recession that was being talked about at that time. And it's because major tech companies cut tens of thousands of jobs. It felt like all in 1 week back in the day, right? We didn't have those announcements coming from Jacksonville. So that type of robust job base, and also being a hub to Fortune 500 companies, also being a base where even your companies that are not Fortune 500 companies are moving here. Right. Many people don't know, and I know I was telling you to pull this stat up earlier. We'll probably show this here, but little old Jacksonville, Florida, was #1 for net corporate relocations of any major city in the country from 2022 to 2023. That means, 67% of corporate relocations, net growth of 67%. That means way more companies moved in than moved out, and the highest percentage of net growth compared to any major city. And this is one stat that even when I saw this stat, which, I'm in this stuff all the time, I saw this and I did a double take. I was like, really? This was us, right? And as you start to learn more and more about your different cities, you'll start to see a picture that's painted of one that is set up for what Robert Kiyosaki is talking about, employment success indicators. And when you have employment success indicators, that's a future leading indicator for success in rental property investments.
Yeah, I love it.